Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? Welcome to another one. Another Buckshot. It's Friday the 8th of April 2022. This, of course, went out last night to the Patreons, as it does all the time with no ads. And they get the video at the weekends of the interview. Hey, Belfast, April 23rd. This fucking month. This month. And tickets still available. We have tickets available for Dublin, May 5th, May 6th in Portage, and now Cork will be, the tickets should be on sale actually today as you're listening. They should be on sale today. If they are, then you'll have no bother in finding them. I'm playing Collins, as they say in Cork, or Cocklands as we say everywhere else in the country, on May 20th. So there you are. So you know the crack. If you want to come see me, have a look in the show notes. The link is there. Go on through. And the tickets that you want will be right in front of you. They're all up there, all the different ones. If you're listening on Spotify right now, would you do me a favour? If you haven't already, give it the 5 stars. If you don't feel like giving it any stars, don't give it any stars unless you're going to give it the 5 stars. Hit the bell as well, the old bell, so you know these pop out into your phone as soon as they pop out. And if you want to become a Patreon, have a look in the show notes as well. The same link will bring you through to the Patreon page. Like I said, you get ad-free content, you get the extra live shows that we do, we get the Ramble Pod every Wednesday that's only for Patrons, and you get the video content. What more can I do for you? Hey, listen, let's move swiftly along to today's guest. What an absolute powerhouse. Not only is he an absolutely delicious singer, a brilliant comedian. Oh God, I love his stuff. But he's one hell of a class bloke as well. This is the first podcast where we smoked. Well, I didn't smoke, but he smoked. And I love the fact that he asked me if he was allowed to smoke on the podcast. Oh, just sit back and enjoy the crack I had with Conor Keys. You don't just fucking shoot animals in the face like I do and fucking swing hammers and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
But it's the style you have now that matches the fucking lifestyle.
It was never meant to. This was a dare from herself. She was like, I fucking dare you to grow a mullet. And I went, all right, we're all locked in fucking, yeah, let's do it. And then I went, all right, I'm cutting it off now. But I said it on the podcast and people were like, don't you fucking cut that fucking thing off. These are women, like they were saying, going, we're living vicariously through your fucking weirdness. You're our one bastion of stupidity.
If there was one comedian on this entire island that you would say who would it suit, it is Tom the Bear. There's no doubt.
I don't know, like I put it out there before and a bunch of lads said they were all going to grow one with me. And they fucking didn't.
Right.
And I was I was that dickhead who went, I'll grow it. And then nobody else did. But when I got complimented by...
How many times do you get confused to be an American when you're out in the street?
Oh, the whole time. Like, and they immediately
assume
that I have American right-wing values as well. It's like, I don't know anything about America. Or I was there a bunch of times. I don't give a fuck about America. What are you talking about? I don't give a fuck about our politics.
You think you've got the MAGA hat in the back pocket?
Oh yeah, like I've had people literally message me online going, "Hey man, I was a big fan of the podcast, but up until you know the hair and the mustache." I'm like, it's just hair and a mustache. But listen, if you are that weak of a person, then you're as well to walk away.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Fuck away off.
Fuck away off, you gowl. It's like I put up something, your man. See, again, I don't follow nor care what any cunt is doing. If it's funny in the moment, it's funny. Like, and then you know, like Trump is one of the funniest cunts, but it's still one of the most fucking thickest cunts you'll ever come across. But it's the funny that fucking I find fucking hilarious.
Some of the stuff. Yeah, we were just chatting about it last week about the man. He's just out there, like he really is, and that's why so many people liked him in America, was because he wasn't the norm.
Oh yeah, that must be what it was. Like,
it had to be, like, apart from the fucking the spin on the racism and stuff they get and the right wing, but there's a lot of central people went with him too, and I think it's because they felt that he wasn't part of the system, even though he's a fucking billionaire.
Oh yeah,
but just by the way he went on and the way he behaved and reality TV and all that shit.
Like in all reality, like he was a New York billionaire. He wouldn't set like if you were on fire from Alabama, he wouldn't fucking piss up on top of you. Like, but it was hilarious.
So we're all right. We're all right now because Joe's in.
Oh God,
Irish Joe is in.
Did you hear the one he came out with about schools the other day? Did you hear that one?
What was that?
Oh, he was
so many, man.
Oh, it was the most if you wrote it into an episode of The Office, you go, "Oh, lads, that's a bit on the nose. It's a bit silly, isn't it?" He's there going, so his little puppet hands are up, and he's talking away about how we need to be investing in the school system. We need to be, and he says, it's all been loaded in one direction, and we need to fucking disperse it. And that was going good until he went, I mean, you look at it. There's loads of these impoverished kids are just as smart as white kids, and you go, Joseph,
Joe. Who gave him Jameson? It does feel like and looks like the man is suffering some form of dementia.
Of course he is. He's about a million.
He's not coping well at all. Like, he's definitely not. It's actually quite sad to see, as much as you can laugh about it, but it's a wee. But I don't know. It's a bit strange, the whole thing.
It is an odd one. It's nearly like when they run the bollocks off an old footballer or an old horse or something. You're kind of going, would you let the cunt out into, off?
Yeah, let him out the stud, like, yeah, let him go.
I mean, I remember he was dozy years ago. He came out with something, and at the time, my 98-year-old grandfather, I was watching the news with him, and he went, Jesus Christ. That fella's too old for the job. You know what I mean?
He's done so. But did you see the White House? I don't know what the event was on yesterday. Take a look at the footage, and you see Obama going around, and all these people, like crowds of people, want to shake Obama's hand. And poor Joe's just wandering around, not one soul talking to him. And he's the fucking sitting president, and nobody's he's just all right. He doesn't know where he is. And Obama has got these throngs of people dying to shake his hand, and Joe's behind him going, "Hello, I'm here."
I'd love if he was just wearing slippers, shuffling around his slipper. Maybe
slips into a dressing gown.
A fucking rolled up buy and sell underneath his fucking arm as well, or the auto trader. Fuck it. You sit over there now, Grandad. Fair play to you.
That's what it feels like sometimes.
I know it's, and then it has. I got complimented. See, it goes the other way. The mullet then and the mustache goes the other way. So we'll say people with wide open perceptions, and they're watching Tiger King, and they're watching, or whatever. Yeah. But then you get the kids, right? 18, 19-year-old kids. Like, came away from a gig the other night, and the usual, stopped in a McDonald's, on the Nace Road.
Of course, yep, natural.
And because then you have to bury the horror of just doing a corporate gig in a fucking middle of a bar restaurant.
I'm shuddering. I'm shuddering for you.
To 40 women who didn't know I was showing up. So we'll just go. We'll just leave that there. We'll just leave that. It was actually weirdly, it was okay, because do you know something that broke in your brain years ago as a comic, like that thing that broke in your brain. And now it's like cauliflower ears for rugby players. They just don't feel that shit anymore. Like, and that's what it was. It was just like, okay, this is third from beginning to end. Give me the fucking mic. Okay. And just
yeah.
But I still go on.
I always look at it as I don't know who it was. I don't know which comedian said it. It might have been Chris Rock or something. But I always said that every gig is a fight.
Yeah.
And you just know that some fights are going to be easy fights, but some fights are going to be hard as fuck. And you just have to mentally prepare for them. And that's the same as you say, just grab the mic and go for it.
Yeah. Like,
but I think the good thing about you is obviously you're going to break the sort of initial visual prejudice.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you talk, then you're not fucking that type of person. You're not, well, not as bad, not in public.
No,
anyway.
not as racist anyway,
Yeah. Only when people are listening.
That's all right. It's a room full of white people. It's fine. It's grand. But it's after it. But this girl, she was just this mousy looking little thing inside the window, and she was like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh, grand." And I was just paying. And next she went, "What do you call your mustache?" I said, "I haven't fucking named it." And she went, "No. What's it called? That kind of mustache?" "Yeah, Demo, come out, look at this fella's mustache. It's unreal." And I went, "Okay, this is a fucking really bizarre moment." And the two of them are leaning out, these two mousy kind of kids, is all you call them, looking out the window going, "Oh, here, it's deadly. Do you die the bottom half and all?" I went, no, it grew that way. It was kind of a surprise it grew that way. "Oh, yeah, I'd love to grow."
It's a natural arm.
Yeah.
Natural Armagh flag.
Yeah. It is a natural, yeah. Holy shit.
Fucking bandit country beard.
It does look the part, all right. If you know what I mean, if I was in a lineup, or I often think like if I was photographed maybe mistakenly identified as being, some fella who did some fucking mad shit, like stole a load of cattle or something, and they put my picture up, nobody would go, "Oh my God, no, they're the wrong guy."
I remember Colin used to do a bit about Jimmy Savile years ago, and he was like, if somebody said to you, draw a paedophile, that's exactly what you would have drawn.
Yeah.
How did we not know?
Old cattle rustler Tom, but the two of them were so excited by this thing, like they were like they thought it was a style,
right? Okay,
but no, they both apparently were playing Red Dead Redemption, right?
So they didn't get a Tiger King reference; they got a Red Dead reference. Okay,
it was hilarious.
So basically, it's a style that suits all genres.
Well, for good or bad, is what I'm saying. It's like for them though, they had jumped, and your man was mad into The Witcher. They were two complete nerds, even though they didn't kind of sound like it or whatever. But they were two complete. He was mad into The Witcher, and he started describing the head Witcher guy, Vesemir or something. He goes, "Fucking head up!" Now there's a queue of cars. Your man's googling him. He goes, "Look it." And I went, I know, I got sent that a couple of times. Yeah, I got, yeah. Here, I better, you heading off, are you? I'm like, yeah. Well, you kind of have fucking work to do. It's this weird, adorable moment. Like when they got enamored by the weird mustache.
Mighty.
Yeah, it was mighty.
That's fucking, deadly. But then it's one of those ones, because as you say, it's a you wouldn't expect that. If somebody was to look at you, you would go, you definitely died the bottom half.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's not. It's just one of those things that just
happened, like a penguin. Just happened.
Well, I had the same. I used to shave my head all the time, and I had this wee white patch on my hair. So my head was shaved all the time, so I never thought about it. And then when I grew it out, it was like a grey streak, and I was like, "Oh, holy fuck!" But now it's getting obviously.
It's class, though. It is class. Like it's that what's her name?
It's waving goodbye, but.
Sure. Listen, welcome to the free. You can join the fucking club here.
Don't start me.
But it's class though. I like it. It's that lightning strike, kind of like Cruella de Vil kind of vibe going on. I like it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going for. Only to get the heels to match the size 12 feet.
Why is that man out fucking skinning fucking Dalmatians at the back? Well, he's method. He's method. That's what he is. You were like the lads, and I've clearly I was only talking to you the other night. I fucking love every opportunity to go up north. But I like to say north of Ireland, because I accidentally said Northern Ireland one evening at a gig, which I had never had before, and I got my knuckles wrapped. It's like it's on the same.
It totally depends on where you're doing the gig.
I know. But you know what? The same night, it was Lavery's, and on the same night, I think Mickey or Geddes was asking, I was doing a bit of crowd work, and they were going, "And where are you from?" And he went, and he said something funny, but is that in North of Ireland? He went, it's in Northern Ireland. He went, oh, you're the opposite of who bitched at Tom. Right. Okay. Right.
So I think if you're for yourself, the safest is just up north.
Yeah.
It's nice to come here up north.
Yeah.
And that just keeps it all sweet.
There's so many nuances, isn't it, that you can be sidestepping like.
Unbelievable.
But you always seemed one of the, I'd say, cool as I'd say I could come to you with the maddest fucking news or story. Do you know what I mean? And you'd be like, I hear you. Do you know, you always struck me as a fella you fucking cool as a breeze. Do you know what I mean? Or at least you had good, coping mechanisms with the mad shit I might come out with. Some lads go, fuck, are you serious? Whereas you were like, oh, nice.
I think that's, I've worked in the community sector for 20 years, so that's probably.
Yeah, right.
That will help a bit too, yeah. So you meet all. I believe it or not, Tom, I've met madder than you.
Yeah, I would fucking believe. I've heard some of your stories on stage. I'm like, oh Jesus. Jesus.
And there's some stuff I can never say on stage.
Of course, yeah. Like you're giving us the stuff that's palatable to and allowed in the public fucking domain, and it's still mental.
But yeah, it's great, and it's been a weird, because it's 10 years there just passed. Would you believe?
Stop.
Now, I know all of us have to take sort of 2 years out for COVID, but 10 years, which is mental. So, doing all right. Doing exactly what I wanted to do, which is like to be a club comic, in that sense, to be reliable and bookable and turn up and do me shit.
That's pretty much when people ask me they're starting out, what's he, man? What's the secret? I'm like, just do your shit, do it well, and show up on time, and be sound about it. Just be sound. In fact, you could take that into most jobs, actually.
Any job, really. But I applied that with comedy, and just because somebody said to me at the very start, well, what do you expect to get out of this? And I was like, I just want to be able to be in a position where a promoter will contact me to book me.
Yeah.
Because I spent first 7-8 years fucking begging for gigs.
Of course.
So thankfully we're at the point now where it's going good. But we've kind of had a wee sort of peak up here in the north this last, maybe definitely post-COVID. But it was just peaking before COVID too, in fairness, where the scene has really kicked off.
Oh, you mean where Kevin Hart decides to play fucking North?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, could it get any fucking hotter up there? Like,
it's unreal.
It is. What do you know the population of Ulster?
Ulster.
I'm going to say Ulster. And I'm going to say Ulster because let's say Ulster. I'm going to do provincially wise.
Well, I don't know. Ulster's 9 counties, so I've no idea. But Northern Ireland or north of Ireland has, I think it's 1.6 or 1.8 million. 1.6, 1.8.
That's Dublin, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just Dublin. Spread out over the size of, I think we're the size of Yorkshire. I think somebody told me we're about the size of Yorkshire.
But it's this intensive. And does that stretch across all the arts? Tell me, like music, plays, stuff like that. Because your theatre scene is it's thriving enough up there. Like,
there's plenty of good amateur theatre in the rural areas. There's a lot of festivals and stuff like that are well supported. And then, the likes of Belfast and Derry. Derry's a great cultural sort of hub for creativity. There is a comedy club there, but there's so much other arts-based activities around it, that would probably rival Belfast at times.
Right.
So there's a good collection, and you find then the same as with us in Daly's, we're based in Oma in Tyrone, so it's a rural town technically, so there shouldn't be a successful comedy club in a rural town.
That's what I'm getting to, is that there shouldn't be.
No, it doesn't make sense, but there is, and it's been a long bit of work. I mean, it's been going 10 or 12 years, but we really at the peak right about 2015 with our second festival. We had a festival in the time.
I remember it, sure. Yeah.
Remember that, yeah. And the second festival, unfortunately, the actual venue Daly's then closed down, went into receivership. So the brakes were applied very quickly, unfortunately.
What happened?
Then we got back.
Yeah, how did you get it back?
It was one of those. Well, we didn't get it back. The owners got it back, and then we get the room then again. So the name is just there because that's the name of the venue, the people who owned it. But once we got it back, then we were 4 shows in, then COVID hit.
Oh, fuck.
So it didn't. So it didn't really get back again. So those couple of shows were okay, but they weren't very well attended. All right. But now since February, they were back, and it's been great so far, man. It's been. Bartlett turned up on Friday night, and Mickey was the usual. He was to do 30 minutes, and then I clocked it in as 52.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
Him and the audience were having such a fucking blast that it didn't matter. It was So we have that flexibility and that sort of audience that are very receptive, just very appreciative. I think. I don't know if you get it down.
Do we? Fuck. Lad, I couldn't bait him in with a fucking stick. You can't. You can't. It's sports or nothing, especially once, you know what I mean? Their music will do well enough, all right, but for the most part, if it ain't sports, it's sports. That's it. It's GA.
And don't forget we're in Tyrone, so obviously GA too. But no, I think there's and Oma would have had a big music sort of creativity sort of history as well, so there'll be plenty of heads about it that would always kept the music alive and the scene going.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm in the north, like it's like comedy is the new rock and roll. It's like every venue wants to be a comedy club and everybody wants to put shows on, and
it's phenomenal. It's like for a brief semblance of that was when I started comedy, and I started in Cork, and it was about 3 or 4 comedy clubs, and they all did well at the time. Now there was a lot of money in our, it was like 2007, like there was fucking rakes of money, like, city limits, the comedy club would have 200 people queuing down the fucking footpath like on a Saturday night. Where I was doing was another one up the road, Crack House, and there was a couple. They just seemed to be popping, but it was almost like there wasn't an appreciation for, lads, look how fucking lucky we are right now. And I had no idea because I was only brand new on the scene, so I had no grasp of it. But right now with the cult of, I don't know, you all seem to be cultivating something fucking brilliant up there. But and I wagered, I says, well, what makes North of Ireland folk? What makes them? And this is this is now coming from, and you have studied people far more than I have. This is my hypothesis, Conor. Is that
I'm ready.
Divide now of, let's say, pre your generation, the one pride, divide of the carry on and the fucking hell that had to be dealt with back in the day, and a lot of people choosing sides and dedicating themselves to a fucking cause of some sort, with those causes now technically, gone and fizzled away. Is there a genetic almost want to and drive in people to just go after either the lighter side of things, or fucking when they nail their colours to a mast on a man? Like I would sell more tickets in Belfast than I would in Clonmel.
Yeah, it's crazy, the support there. I think, I know we are technically, especially this is my community and voluntary sector hat on now.
Yes.
We are technically a post-conflict society.
Yes.
And dealing with truth and reconciliation. The main issue is that we don't really have either.
Right. Okay.
Or reconciliation.
Yes.
But what we do have is a knowledge of, sometimes you see if it's America and there's riots, there's protesters. And especially maybe the lockdown stuff that you would have seen, anti-lockdown protests in Dublin and some in Belfast, but ultimately across the north they weren't, supported in that sense.
Yeah,
that's because we know where it ends. We actually know what the end result of all that is, and we've done that.
You've been in a fight before, right?
Yeah, and subconsciously, I think even the ones who have never been in it, because they've been told so much about it and know so much about it, it's always in their head of going, we don't want to go there. We've been there.
Yes.
It's something. Yeah. So don't fuck me. It's still divided as fuck. Especially the cities. The rural areas, not so much.
Right.
You've got little, what you would call pockets or maybe interfaces, but nothing at all. Like Oma, for instance, would be, there'd be none of that. But Belfast, obviously, I don't know if it's, I would have the conspiracy theory that it's on purpose to keep them divided. But there's a lot of walls with up to separate people in Belfast. But
what would be the drive now to keep people separated? Where is because everything is money. Where's the end result in keeping people separated now?
I've no idea. I assume it's the power. The keeping the votes where they want to keep the votes. Again, as we've talked about this on our podcast and loads of times about we know all the fucking tricks of the trade when it comes to society.
Yeah,
we know about gerrymandering. We know about equal rights. We know about one man, one vote. We know all that sort of. We've learnt that shit to the point where, in the north, for instance, you can't vote unless you have a photo ID.
Unless you have a photo ID,
you have to have a photo ID to vote in the north, and we've had that for a long time, right? So that's because of the phrase "vote early, vote often."
Ah, right. Yes.
That Sinn Féin would have used for a long number of years, where many buses of boys were travelling the north. So again, we've learnt all the mistakes, but we're technically, according to the constitutional end of things, we're part of the UK. But if you hear anybody in England talking about the new proposals to bring in voter ID, it's racist.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, well, hello, we're over here in the same fucking jurisdiction you're in, and we have it. We have to have it here. So you actually then have a fair election. You actually then see this is what really reflects. And unfortunately for us, sometimes it's bad reflection because half the fucking people don't bother going out to vote.
Not at all. Sure. I mean, case in point, fucking Brexit.
Same everywhere, yeah.
You just get fucking gammy-headed fucking people. Like, I've talked about some of the politicians that have gotten into power. That again, I wouldn't be a big follower of politics, but there's a guy like the transport minister down south is Eamon Ryan is his name from the Green Party.
Yes, I've seen him. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you know? It'd be great if every Irish village just had one car. What do you think about that now? And nobody's laughing him out of it. Like they're going, stand down, Minister Ryan, you're fine. He's like, I think that'd be a great idea. The cunt has never been south of the fucking red cow, like. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man,
and he's just coming out with this shit. And people wonder then why like some mad bastards have been gotten into power then in places like, places like Tipperary or Westmeath or fucking North Roscommon. You're like, yeah, because you can't relate to anything that's going on in the capital. And none of you fuckers will go out and see him. Nobody will talk about a cow. Do you know what I mean? Yes, okay. But the Healy Rays, they'll come across fucking mental when they come out with stuff. But at least there's some sort of representation for some guy who's like, you motherfuckers are doing nothing for me.
Isn't it back to the old thing, same as the North, about numbers and power? Yeah. I mean, you chat to people, like, because we're sort of the poor relations of the UK.
Oh, yeah.
So we get everything last. So whenever, like, even as far back as, like,
you get the jumper with a hole in it, like, yeah.
Oh, everything's a hand downs. So even back in the day when Sky TV first came out, we were the last area to get it. When fucking broadband was first installed, the last area to get it. So we are, like, ourselves in Donegal are basically fucking good kinship, because them poor bastards. I don't think Dublin's ever ventured near unless they're playing a football match.
Not at all. No, they would not give a shit. Like, you have to take things into your own fucking hands, really. Like, it's the only way to do it. Like, and that's what I actually did. I did a podcast with a guy a couple of weeks ago. You'd be interested in it now. It's Program Black is the name of it. He's a news podcast. Right. He's starting out, and he's in an interesting position. He's in a position that he doesn't want to be. Albeit people would love. He's working for a big financial company as their medic, but he really wants to get out into the sticks because he believes, you know what I mean. He's got to become more self-sufficient in himself, But I was listening to the shit he was going on with, like that. Like, it terrifies him going into work when everybody else is walking around London, like, He's like, there could be 15 million people at any one time in the height of the summer outside here. One stick pulled from underneath that fucking thing, we're all fucked.
Mental. Yeah. You think of where we're at now. If somebody was talking the other day about the internet being shut down. Imagine if it was shut down for 48 hours. The fucking world would just, nobody would be able to do. You couldn't get access to cash, you couldn't do payments, you couldn't do, nothing would work, nothing would be going. We have been very, very matrix level reliance on machines. Like,
haven't we though?
Fucking, oh, fucking. I wish the whole island would take your approach and head off into the fucking sticks and build cabins for themselves and fucking, you know what I mean, actually live a little bit, because some of that crack I'm hearing from Dublin about the price of rent and stuff, I can't be living that shit. It's fucking
Conor, you've never seen the like of it. Like, it's worse as getting, and it's like, well, where the fuck do you think this is going to end up again? Where it did end up, like, it was just because the wages, the wages don't match.
The house price, the same in the north. The house price about this is going to be a bad crash. But I don't know. Sometimes you don't know what to fucking trust in the internet anymore. But I've seen some things of, like, a bed being rented out for like €600 a week or something fucking mental.
It wouldn't be beyond the man. I mean, 5 years ago, I remember myself and herself queuing. We were looking for places in Dublin to rent, and we were queuing with these groups of people. Twos and twos. They were all the couples. They were all trying to get their. I don't know. They were all trying to get their story straight. Like, tell them now that we're the power couple, and it was like everybody was there. They had. The young Asian couple were there, like the power couple. The fucking the vegan lesbians were there, and we're standing there going, observing all this, going, we can't live amongst this, like. And even at the time, we knew, And a perfect example was, and nobody could see the writing on the wall. It was perfect. If you helicoptered this moment, we were all queuing on this footpath to go look at this fucking regular house, semi-D house in what would be deemed a nice area. But for me, it was, fuck this. Like, it's still, you want that money, because I know that house, I could build that fucking house right now for 45,000. And you think it's worth fucking $750,000? Go fuck yourself, like. But this, we're all queuing on the footpath. This owl one, she's sweeping out the front. She's like, what are you all doing out there, right? And everybody just kind of looks at her. It's like 40 people. I went, oh, we're just queuing to view the house next door. And herself is elbowing me, like. And she goes, well, could you queue somewhere else, right? And I start convulsing because I so don't want this house, like. And I start laughing. I went, no, we couldn't. But I can't wait to move in beside you. Right? And I got everybody.
She was a fucking plant.
She
that was
fucking
somebody
was.
put her there. Wanted the house, yeah.
Oh, but we walked through the
Hired
house.
away actress.
Oh, we walked through this house, and it was like I just hated the notion of pandering to the estate agent who didn't give a fuck. Who was like 21 on his phone, like just going, I need an M3 parked out the front. Going, I couldn't give a fuck about any, and everybody's going, so with those. And I just hate the idea of competing with somebody in that moment because it's like, what are we competing for? And and I go out the back and there's a wall like 4 foot high. I'm like, so the bitch can even fucking climb over and get you if she needed to. You know what I mean? Like, but even then we moved a little out the country, and it still wasn't country enough. But it was you got a sense, you were a taste of it. Oh, for fuck's sake, what the fuck are we doing in among that? Like,
absolutely.
It's. I think more people have done it though. Gordo's fucked off out to Mayo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was.
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's what's the technology now? I mean, fucking, there's no reason to not be out there. You know what I mean? There's this whole fucking working from home shit anyway. So there's definitely opportunities out there that people to leave. But then what the fuck comes in? I mean, the prices are still going up.
Yeah.
It's just like more fucking rich fucking Russian fucking, well, not Russians, but fucking
yeah.
It'll
be Asians.
Probably Asians coming in and buying it all up. You know what I mean? It's weird.
I can't think. I have one friend who bought in Dublin that I can think of in recent times, and he is a very good job. She's a very good job. But even still, I wouldn't dare ask him what he paid for it, like, because I'd say he's a pain in his chest. This is city centre, like, nice area.
I wouldn't fucking sleep.
And it would give me, because the house prices around there, like, you would literally buy a mansion with 20 fucking acres out the country, like, for what the house prices are around there. You're like, they'd probably throw in, a fucking their firstborn and a couple of cows. You know what I mean? You'd be set, for this kind of stuff.
Well, this podcast has turned into just two fucking middle-aged men ranting about house prices,
isn't it? Yeah. We'll get on to the price of power next.
Which podcast isn't? Tell me which podcast isn't.
I know, but hey, I have to, because the source of the madness, right? And I've told this story to so many comedians, and I don't give a fuck. One of the funniest moments of my life was a gig that was delayed on us in Daly's one night. Do you remember that? And
yes.
delayed by a fucking long time, and it was one of the weirdest, funniest. Like I felt like an American watching Irish dancing or something. It was like out the window looking at these lads. I'm going, what the fuck is going on? And everybody's supposed to accept that these grown men are dressed like this. Serious faces on them all, stomping up and down the street doing the same tune and the same walk. Like, how fucking much practicing of a walk do you need? But
man, it's you wouldn't believe. So just for anybody listening that doesn't know what you're talking about, it's obviously the Orange Marches that's happening. Yeah, it's a weird one because it's only ever been the Southern comedians, obviously, who's really had anything to say. Everybody else has just closed the windows and just like, oh, there's marches on. But like yourself, and it was weird because we were the first Friday of the month.
Yeah.
And so every September, on the first Friday of September in Oma is the big marches. So we always coincided. So we've had yourself. I'm trying to think who else was there. Ardlo Hanlon was there the night that it was on. And again, it was, his opening line was going, I can't believe he's put a parade on for me.
Yeah. I think mine was something. It was something similar along that. Who knew you had gay pride, but it was just so bizarre. It was so, but what it was is, it was a staunch stance is what it was, and it aligned perfectly with a Friday night because it was March 18th, and I got stopped by a cop on that street, and he wouldn't let me drive in. I say, right. You'll not get into the town tonight. I went, what? Fucking what's after happening? Jesus Christ, what's after happening? He's like, oh no, they're practicing marching. I went, and such a fucking dum-dum thought, well, fair play to them. They've another 364 days and the St. Patrick's Day parade. They're only just open. And I'm saying this in my head, but the cop knew what my brain was doing. He went, not that marching. Oh! I fucking ran down the street to see this carry on. I couldn't fucking wait. I was like, I've never seen that. And I walk in and all you have big grey ignorant faces and all you going, but that'll be the fucking show held off for a good hour anyway. I went, that's fine. That's fine. I'm looking out the window at this.
That's all we didn't care about the marches. We just worried about the traffic. People not being able to get in, the audience not being able to get there. Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like it. It was so serious.
It's something silly like 70 bands or something like that march up. So it's like a 3-hour march. It's like one, as you say, one after the other, one band after the other. Now, I know you think they're all the same songs, but they're not.
Are they not? All right.
No.
Shite. I thought it was all the same.
Well, that's the problem. Sometimes it might sound like they're all the same, but it is when, as you say, when you see the sort of, what would you call it, the pageantry of it.
Yeah, this is it. I was blown away. I was like, the effort you're going to, and some of them are wearing, like the I suppose they would have been like uniforms, but ostentatious versions of ones that lads would have worn during the Zulu Wars and the Boer Wars and stuff. I'm like, this is like panto. Look at you. Some lads had a right fucking thing going on, but then big dead serious face, like nobody was having the crack. I'm like, come on, twirl a stick and have a bit of crack, lads. The crack was not in those people. Sure, it wasn't.
No. Protestants can't have crack on marches. Not allowed.
It's
a wee bit of banter, maybe, but no crack.
I'll have to check you there, Gordon. You're after heading into crack territory there now. We're only allowed banter at absolute most banter, for fuck's sake. But tell me this. So when did your? Because I love.
Sorry, tell me this first. Are you allowed to smoke in your podcast? It's just a.
That's 200 and how many episodes? 220 something, and nobody has come out with that absolute dinger of a line yet. Are you like, yes, smoke whatever you have, sir, smoke it. Smoke.
I have one and we slow.
Did you ever?
It's one of
is it a real fag?
It's a Slovakian one,
Yeah, I remember I used to get queer fags off a fella. I'm somewhere like that now, but it was like fucking smoking a sparkler. The fucking thing, there'd be chunks of it falling off, which was only a quarter the price of regular fags.
This is the same. They're a bit long, but
fucking how is it as a drag now? Because you look like a fellow who's not fully enjoying it.
I'll be all right. I think I'll get through it. I'll survive. What are we going to say in there? What are we going to
Deckchair and Yumz.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you this because I know I asked Mickey this and he was drunk the time I asked him, and I had a few as well, and then it fucking went straight on.
Mickey was drunk?
I know. Old cirrhosis himself. But anyway. Tell me, Deckchair and Yumz, the story, was that your thinking? Because I know your family has a rake of fucking mad nicknames. You're all called fucking things like fucking cheesy whiz and stuff like that. Are you? You're the cheese, aren't you?
I'm Yumz.
You're Yumz.
Yeah. No, because Deckchair and Yumz. Maggie's Deckchair.
Right. Okay. All right.
Because he folds easily.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much for him to go for pints. Like,
no.
You get halfway through a sentence.
Yeah.
And he's away. Yeah.
I've tested that one in Galway a few times. It was like, no, I'm staying dry now for a pet, and I won't even finish the word pint. And he's like, oh, he's already at the bar, like going.
Yeah, so we're Deckchair and Yumz. Yeah, no, but you're right. Yeah, my whole family. So they have 3 brothers. One's Hump, one's called Twine, and the other one's called Cheese.
Do you call each other that around the
my
house?
My ma calls me brother Hump. Yeah.
Does he always have the hump, or has he got a hump?
That's where it came from. My dad used to always get slagged for always taking a hump. So then years and years ago, when my younger brother was a toddler, he was on my dad's back, and somebody said, oh, look, there's Daddy Hump and Baby Hump. And then Hump just stuck. So Hump is he is humped everybody. Like, most people don't even know his real name. Unless you went to school with him, maybe in the class where they read his name, everybody else is Hump.
Are you living where you grew up then? Like right close to where you grew up?
No. I grew up in the States. Yeah. So I'm out in the same town, but it's the other side of town. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. But
ours, it was there used to be a competition to see which one of our estate or our other state was the worst estate in Oma. So there was always that was a proud moment when we were battling that out. But yeah, so that was where I grew up. I left there when I was 18, 19.
Yeah, I went to a house party in Oma one night after a gig, and yeah,
good.
I'll put it to you this way: I don't mind a wild bit of fucking, but when there's going to be all out fucking war, And you're old enough and fucking long enough in the tooth to go,
Uh,
this is gonna fucking bust into that. And I slept in the car. I went out and slept in the fucking car.
You can feel them brewing outside
Yeah.
pubs in Oma, and I'd be like, oh, time to get a kebab.
Yeah.
Because it's like just like eating popcorn. I'm just eating a kebab watch and just fucking, this is deadly. This is great.
I remember they used to
never spilling a drop.
I never got I don't get an overly. Then again, I've been in a lot of fucking rough towns. Like I don't get a rough vibe off Oma. Like it's
no, it's not rough.
It's
do you know
not
what
a
it is? Honestly, do you know what the most of it is? It's fucking GA grudges.
Okay, Grant, right? Fair
on
enough.
the pitch that ends up going off the pitch, and it's usually something they get. It's nothing usually too major, like. But So I mean, I think every town in Ireland has the same fucking issue of boys.
Man, go down to West Cork if you want to see what war looks like. Go down to West Cork. Oh my fucking god, they'll go. It's like something out of West Side Story. Like they'll go fucking 40 on 40. It's mental. Although I still wouldn't be considered rough, but I think Longford is probably the roughest place I was ever.
Was that right?
Yeah,
Longford.
And I mean, yeah. I mean, I went to school in Tipperary Town, and that was fucking rough. Like I remember hearing about a fellow who got nailed to the road. He owed money to drug dealers. They nailed it to the road, crucified into the road, like. But I mean, now that was a once off. It wasn't a regular occurrence. Like,
no, that's the same. Yeah. There's always got the. I mean, you can always pick out a few bad stories, but overall, no, the place is good. Like it's a thriving sort of town. Like.
We did a gig in Longford. And I worked there for a while. I was building a golf course there. And so I was kind of in and out of the place. You'd see just fucking rough, like, you know what I mean? Just fucking hardy fuckers walking around, mad looking yokes, lads missing fucking bits of ears. It was a regular enough thing. Lads had loads of scars on their faces and stuff. And I remember we did a gig there one time, and it was myself, Aidan Bishop, and I'm trying to think who else was it. Alison Spittle and a couple more people. And we went across the road anyway after this gig, and we said because we're getting put up. It was all good money. It was actually a great gig, and we went across the road to this nightclub. And I remember seeing there was 2 ambulances outside the nightclub. I went, fuck, is there being an accident? And I swear to God, your man at the door went, oh no, they'll be there the whole time just in case. Because there's a strong possibility. There's no point in parking up in the fucking hospital when you know where you're going. And we went
that's
into
a bad sign.
Oh man, we went into that nightclub and we lasted 5 minutes. Because we were just different faced people. Like lads just start squaring up to you. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? Just fucking fucked off.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
No. Right. And to be honest with you, I mean, that's been fucking years since I've been in a nightclub. That's somewhere. Even when I was young, I didn't want to go to nightclubs. I was always into fucking. I was always into music and the bands and stuff like that. So I was never into nightclubs anyway. But even fucking worse now, not a chance.
Oh Lord. So what turned you on to conspiracy theories then for Deckchair and Yumz? Like, was it just chatting with Mickey or just chatting in general? Or you're like, hey, we fucking need to delve into some of these issues, like?
I don't think conspiracy theories was my first thing. I think the first thing was losing the house. We lost our house, and after the crash in 2000, we moved into our house in December 2007.
Oh Lord save us! Oh Lord.
So 3 months later, we lost 50% of the value. So I don't know. I suppose I was like everybody else. I hadn't a fucking clue. I just knew you had to get a mortgage. So I made a sort of a sworn blood oath to myself. I just cut myself, and I just said, right, that's it. I'm going to learn how fucking money works.
Yeah,
because I have no idea how it works.
So we don't get taught it, like.
No, it's never taught in school, like and stuff. Yeah. So then when I learned how it works, I was like, for fuck's sake. So that sort of led you down the hole of, obviously there's a massive control on the planet money wise, financially. So that started that, if you want to call it the rabbit hole. That was then 10 years ago. So over the course then of starting comedy, me and Bartlett, over a few drinks or whatever, Bartlett were like, no, Bartlett with eyebrows going, here. And so he would start telling me something about...
Do that again. That's a really good Bartlett.
So when he would get drunk and start doing that, when 2 of us end up all night chatting fucking like mad stuff. Like, so Iraq would have been one of the big ones about the whole weapons of mass destruction being a lie and all this sort of stuff. And then somebody he knew telling the story of being in the army and being sent out to collect crates of cash, pallets of cash that have been delivered into Iraq from America. So all that sort of, there's that conspiracy end of things of money and control and stuff. So we're always into that. So then about, I think it was January 2020, I was in the Empire.
Yeah.
And Mickey was on, I think he was MCing, and out in the smoking area, because I had started a podcast already called Best the Best, by the way, if you want to go and take a look. Me and my mate, just two fucking nerds talking about films and movies and TV, whatever. And so he knew I had some equipment. So he was like, "Do you want to do a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah." As you know, like we would, the fucker's good, if not the best.
Stop.
And
just press play. Just press record and let him off. Like,
yeah. When one of the best asks you, "Do you want to do a podcast?" you fucking jump. So yeah, we started that. But to be honest with you, the very first plan was to do 6 episodes, like a series type thing, because he was heading to Australia. So he was going to be away for nearly 2 months. And so we decided, right, like 4 times a year, we'll release 6 episodes or something. And then fucking lockdown happened. And Australia was cancelled. And we ended up then being every week. And then it led to the Friday night live quizzes and stuff. And
yeah.
So just to fill in the time and pass things, people weren't out in the pubs and stuff. So it built from there. And then, but one of the things we said was we would try and talk about some conspiracy stuff, the usual.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the famous ones, but the JFK assassination and 9/11, all that sort of things that people are normally talking about. And then we decided then that we'll maybe move it away into our own episode on a Patreon thing. So we called it Just Rabbiting On. So we actually have 2 episodes. We have the Deckchair and Yumz, then we have Just Rabbiting On. So Just Rabbiting On took us, we're right up to date to now, talking about Biden and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we've been following it the whole way through, especially all the Q stuff or the QAnon. We've been watching that and watching how it's been used to mobilize one side. It's fucking fascinating stuff. But then we have the vanilla one, the clean one, we call it.
Yeah.
It goes out then. So that's just pure fucking, as you say, press record and let the content go.
Oh, sure. Listen, when I was doing, because again, we're all trying to invent things. I was doing just a bit of a game show, clat together kind of game show that we recorded with comics, it was, and it was just, there was no genius fucking or origin to it, but it was great. It was a bit of crack we had, but I remember Mickey got so fucking excited. He turned into such a fangirl when Rochford was fucking on the show.
Was that right?
I was like, fucking. So I was asking to come on your show. He goes, "Yeah, it'd be great, fucking crack." And he asked me, and he texted me. He was like, "Rochford's after asking me on the show." He turned into a complete fucking knickers.
He did. He actually did tell me that was happening actually. But he wasn't as he was a lot more cool and collected.
Oh, he's cool now. Yeah, he's cool now. Yeah.
He was like, "Oh yeah. Oh, that day I think I'm dealing with those conspiracy guys." Like, fuck off, you cunt. But then people ask us then, about, and we always direct them to those conspiracy guys because we're just 2 comedians with one of us, me, reading a load of fucking weird shit on the internet, but without being able to compile it. I think those boys do a fucking great job of the research and putting it all together. So
it's mental.
Somebody asked, like they were like, and then somebody was like, "Oh, we would like to hear Deckchair and Yumz version or take on things," and we were going, "Yeah, that would just be us regurgitating those conspiracy guys because they've done the work."
Well, that's it. Like another good one is the lads, but they'd be kind of in the light way, which you would, but they'd a bit of is Monster Fuzz. Did you ever come across the boys, the Monster Fuzz lads? No. It's a different type of monster from around the world. Like there's millions of monsters, famed monsters. There's probably one from Oma. Do you know what I mean?
Probably. Yeah.
And they'll bring a guest on, and it will invariably.
It's called Aaron McCann.
Yeah, it's giant television of a head.
Children can't sleep at night just for the fear of the head. Yeah, no, there's probably as you say, there's probably one everywhere.
So the likes of that. So again, but the lads, they keep it all based around dick jokes and as much as they possibly can, and squeezing dick jokes and nudity, that kind of way. So it's.
Well, it was weird for us because we've such a dynamic on the Just Rabbiting On one. I'm trying to fucking read questions from patrons into fucking serious mental shit, and I've got fucking Wingnut Bartlett beside me, riffing on a segue on something, and I'm like, "Man, you don't have to see here. We're just talking." Like it doesn't match, but it does. It also does work. So it's weird how it works. It's a whole different relationship there. But yeah, the main one has really kicked off. It's been great for us. Like it's
brilliant.
It's fucking therapy. I know
of course. Yeah.
But now we're on video now, and we're probably going to be moving to YouTube. That was the other reason we had to take Just Rabbit and On off YouTube.
Of course, yeah.
We got banned for the first time because we made fun of some of the guidelines.
Oh yeah.
Of the COVID, and especially the whole, lick around the anus, not in the anus guideline that went out. Apparently, as a comedian, you're not allowed to laugh at that. You're supposed to just take it as is. But so we had to move on to move that on to Vimeo just to keep fucking YouTube happy, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
But there is a shadow banning thing going on at the moment. Like, I mean,
there for sure is. I did the most light, silly sketch last week, and it was me as a woman. Like, literally, it was just with a wig and a pair of glasses on, and it's the most inane joke that I put up will get over a weekend it will get a few thousand views. This is stuck lodged at like 200 views, and I've noticed for a few days you put up things and you know yourself, not that I'm massively well followed, but you know yourself, there'll be likes on things. No, nothing at all is coming through. Like, I'm going, did somebody
have to
report me, or maybe they didn't, but it was just.
Well, Mickey's a good example. So you have to get to the R in Bartlett. So Mickey _ Bartlett, you have to get to the R before he comes up as a listed person.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty like, and I think some of the other guys are too. So it turns out that the algorithms are realizing that if you put something up just with swearing, you're automatically shadow banned without, bleeping it out or without editing it. You're going to be. So Colin and the rest of them, I think, are all sort of suffering the same thing, where Paddy, you have to get to the comedian part. Paddy McDonald comedian, you have to get to the CEO part before it even comes up.
Shit.
No, I haven't checked to see where I am, but I'm sure I am fucking definitely shadow banned.
By association.
I'm on some list somewhere.
By association alone. The fact that we're talking and that I'm friends with the boys as well, you'd be guaranteed by association we're put at the back of the queue some which way. I guarantee fucking to you. But
so you're up against that, but thankfully it doesn't seem to matter. We've all got our own our own listenership. So now there is obviously a lot of crossover because we're a small fucking area, but everybody's doing well. And I always say there's enough fucking laughs and enough time for everybody to do well.
Oh, it clearly is.
And everybody,
clearly is.
It's hoping now that some other smaller towns will take on comedy clubs in their town.
I think they will. I think they. I mean, it'll be madness. You only need to look.
And female comedians. We've a big lack of female comedians. And
don't worry, there'll be a wave of them coming soon enough.
But I don't understand why. We have some funny fucking women in this place. Like, it's
the other side of it. Fellas have to be fucking funny if they've got a big fucking head or they're short or whatever. Because, you know what I mean. And this is why I had to be funny. You just have to be to stand out in the fucking room. It's either that or you be the psycho who's going to go fighting everybody. You be one or the fucking other.
Yeah. I mean, I was always a fat kid. Like, I mean, this wasn't a late blooming fucking thing.
You're not just doing it for a stage persona.
No. This has been a work in progress for a long time. So it was one of those things that I would have used humor probably to deflect away from that. And I would have been self-deprecating in the way that I would have got in first. I made sure I got the joke in before they did. And that took me till I was 30 to realize that's actually a good tool for comedy.
Yeah.
So a lot of. When did you start?
I was technically, I suppose, minus the 2 years, 14 years ago.
Okay.
So it's, I suppose it. Yes, it would be. It would be. It was. It would be 2008. It was at basically I was possibly and most definitely, but undiagnosed, having a mental breakdown. I was going through a change. I think we all maybe might have had that little around there. There was a funny moment there around 2008 where we all seemed to have. I don't know where it was, what was happening, but oh Lord, and you know what I mean when you're like Asher. Listen, even like I was talking about, I worked in Longford. Like the insanity of the time, the work that I was getting, like. Fucking, I thought I was a rock star. a fucking construction fucking rock star at the time. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And I was too young, like, to be getting. Oh, do you know why you're great, Tom? And like, go on, tell me again why I'm great. You know, I wasn't great at all, Connor. I was a dickhead. Like,
I mean, listen. I think we all. I mean, if you think of, I think back to my first, gig, whatever, to now, the change is massive. I think some of the problem is there's some people who never change. They're still in this game 10 years on and never change. But no, it's been like for us now at the moment. I think we could. It could, like you say, I don't know if it's a peak that's going to dip, but like the lads, like, I mean, Colin, Shane, even Mickey. I mean, Mickey's 3 nights Ulster Hall, but now Paddy's joined the ranks as well with the Waterfront. The Waterfront's like 2,000 people.
It's monster. Yeah,
mental. It's massive size. Like, so, it's fucking great to see. I'm loving it, and it's mighty, like, the part of it. But it's taken a while, and the good thing about us is, especially like the Colin and Shane. Completely did it by themselves.
Yes.
Completely, Geddes went through the fucking 7-8 years of being famous with no money.
Yeah.
All that shit of everybody knowing him, but he was still going gig to gig and stuff. So, and Shane being the same, the boys have fucking earned it. Like, they were prolific in their output. They really fucking were. Like,
like, you wouldn't believe. Like, there's, it's actually unprecedented because it just doesn't happen like that. No, it's a big PR team, big marketing. We'll put you on every, like, you'll see it here. Like, we will put you on every TV show to try and get your face out there as much as possible. And the boys, none of it really, like, nothing. No. You know what I mean?
And Mickey was the only one amongst us who we would have classed as professional because he had an agent, and he was killing it on the circuit across the water, which none of us were doing. So it was all just. It was brewing. The perfect brew was happening, and I think maybe, as I say, maybe lockdown. Well, for instance, it definitely gave us the boost with the podcast.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's given everybody a chance, and even for us in dailies now, we're selling out way in advance of the date.
That's amazing.
I think people are just really keen to get back out again.
That's amazing.
So it's been great, yeah.
And when do you get a chance then? Because I always love when you put up clips of when you're singing. Because you sing one of the few styles of music that I actually really like. You know what I mean? I'm not the music aficionado that you would be. But when you know what I mean? It's
a bit of soul.
A bit of soul. It's like, I could listen to that shit all fucking day long. Everything else I'm grand for about 15 minutes. When I turn that fucker off, I'll go inside my head. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
but
you know what? That's one of those other things that I just sort of stopped doing. I could do it. I did it all when I was in school. And music actually was my first love.
Right.
So I did that for you, and then just stopped. And I didn't. Well, I stopped in the sense that I just stopped doing it in public. But like at every wedding or family event, I was always up doing a song, or the guitar was taken out at parties, or I was always doing something. But I just never did it in public. So then, a couple of years ago, I was chatting to a guy who had said to me years ago, "Fuck, you sound like Andrew Strong.
Yeah.
You should do more of that." And I said to them one day, I managed to get fucking 9 other people to join a band to do a Commitments tribute act.
That's brilliant.
And then the worst thing is, see, the first time we played, because it was me doing all the advertising, it was me and the poster and all the rest, people thought they were coming to a comedy play.
Right, yeah.
And an adaptation of the Commitments done by me.
Well, now.
And like, and in my head, I was like, what the fuck did you think I was doing with the 9 other people? Like, they thought it was a stand-up show. I don't know what they thought. So, like, and then when I started belting them to fucking take me to the river, what the fuck is going on here? So it actually shocked me the amount of people that didn't know I could sing, and I thought, oh fuck, that's right, because when I was thought that, I thought, when's the last time you sang in public? And I realized, oh fuck, that was 13 years ago.
Yeah,
that's probably why people don't know. Yeah, that'll do it. So yeah, it's actually been great. This has been the last show was fantastic, and we do it once a year.
Right.
But this time round, we've said we'll do it maybe once every couple of months to keep the momentum up, because what was happening was there was such a long gap, especially COVID. We were starting from scratch every year.
Of course, yeah.
Forgetting things. So I'll let you know the next time we do it again. But it's a fucking hard. I mean, it reminded me of why I did stand up.
Yeah.
Because I used to do plays and write plays, and I was dealing with cast members, like 12, 14 people. 12,
Jesus.
14 diaries, fucking schedules and
Oh,
lies.
Jesus.
And it was such a nightmare. You know, rehearsals, I'd be reading 8 parts. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, nobody here. And so I was like, whenever I did the first play and it was performed and I heard people laughing at my material that I'd written, I was like, fuck, I wonder could I try stand-up?
Yeah.
Because I know I can turn up on time and I'll not
Yeah.
fucking pull out in rehearsal. And so then with the band, I was back to it again. I was going, fuck, this reminded me why I did stand-up.
Yeah.
Because see 10 people and trying to get them organized and trying to, but the payoff is unreal on it. Because like you say, that music it's fucking timeless. Like, because our audience, it's like a big wedding. You've got 18-year-olds and 70-year-olds all dancing together. Like, it's really fucking, it's amazing to see.
I could only imagine. Where did you put it on, or where did you do it? The last one
in the local hotel. Yeah.
Oh, right.
The local hotel.
Oh, Jesus, I'll be on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of a Belfast gig. We'd love to do a Belfast one. So
man, you'd absolutely fucking crush it. Like, and I love that you have the sign and everything from the commitments to their heroin.
Yeah, heroin kills with the E faded out.
Yeah,
there's no E in heroin. And the worst thing is, right? The weird thing about it is, I forget when I do the show. When we do the show, the last gig, I forget to tell the audience what the sign's about because I just
shit, yeah, of course. Your 18-year-olds are never gonna know.
So they don't get the reference at all.
Oh,
they
brilliant.
Just come in and go, did they fuck up a heroin sign? and then because a lot of ones afterwards were going, I didn't know Oma had a heroin problem. I was like, no, it doesn't. It was Dublin.
It was Dublin in the 80s, and it was like,
yeah. But yeah, so that I've said to the band, I'm going to remember next time.
Yes,
we are a tribute band to Commitments, which is a film you should watch. Now, a few people, because we were on, they had watched the film afresh, like in the lead up to it.
Yeah.
So some of them were like taking pictures with it and all. Like, it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But the young ones who hadn't seen it before, they didn't get it at all.
Yeah, but even still, it's one of those movies that you could watch again. No fucking bother, you know.
Oh man, I fucking know every word of it. Like, yeah.
I knew there was. I tweeted a thing again. It was. Sometimes I don't know what time of the day you're supposed to tweet these things and all the rest of it. Or, you know, I know nothing about. But I tweeted a couple of weeks ago, and I think Mickey and a couple of more people who'd be in tune saw it. And it was like the modern day equivalent of Jimmy Rabbit talking to an imaginary Terry Wogan in the bath.
Right.
Is every stand-up comic in Ireland on the fucking jacks talking to Joe Rogan? It's the modern day equivalent of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I watched it recently with my daughter who's 17, and even that haven't explained who Terry was.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I was like, oh, see, when he says Terry, just imagine it's Graham, as in Graham Norton. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, fuck, you have to explain that too, because as time moves on, obviously, poor old Terry, God rest his cotton socks.
There's a pub open now. Do you know there's a pub? Do you ever come across Marcus O'Leary?
Oh yeah.
Marcus and a couple of more guys have a pub in Dublin called Jimmy Rabbits. Yeah, it's a 90s tribute pub.
I have to go on to Marcus, and he's going to have the Commitments tribute band down there.
Yeah. It's called Jimmy Rabbits, and it's like, sorry. There's Jimmy Rabbits.
Oh, you got me all excited there, Tom. Fuck you.
No, he does. They do have a 90s tribute bar called Jackie's Bar. Sorry, sorry. No, but there is a Jimmy. No, there is a Jimmy Rabbits down on Camden Street beside Ryan's bar on Camden Street. Jimmy Rabbits, and it's spelled like the surname. Like I'm guessing it's probably a 90s themed bar as well. Like, why fucking not?
Probably. Everything's fucking cyclical, doesn't it? It goes back to fucking. I never thought the shell suits and the mad covers would ever be fucking fashionable again. Fucking me.
Connor, who fucking knew?
Oh, Jesus. I know. Exactly.
Kids were going to be high-fiving me out the window of a McDonald's at fucking 10 o'clock at night on a Friday going, your fucking moustache and hair is deadly, man. I'm like, thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know what chick I'll cash that thank in, but thank you.
Then you drive off and they go, oh, that wee lad now. There's a wee, God love him. God love him. We should have given him for free.
They probably thought I was, thought I was the poor bastard. I've taken up enough of your time. I'm going to see you in June And it's a June.
Yes,
I'm coming up to you. Yeah.
June. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait.
Can't fucking wait. Anybody else? There'll be no tickets. There's hardly a point in telling about anybody about Daly's Comedy Club. There'll be no tickets to be got because they're like hen's fucking teeth at the minute, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it's great to see. Yeah, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be a cracking one. It's they're just as you know, they're always fucking up for it. Like,
that's the second you said it to me. I was like, yep, no matter. It's great. Absolutely. Jake,
lovely.
Deckchair and Yumz. If you look down in the show notes, I will put a link directly to the boys. Is there anywhere else people should go?
Well, best of the best podcast.
Best of the best.
Or well, Ron will fucking bust me if I don't do that. Like, gotta keep everybody happy. Like, no, it's actually, it's become the fun one.
Yeah,
because I don't have to do it every week.
Yeah. There you go.
That sort of way.
It's not work.
Get a wee bit of a break. Yeah, it's not. It's like me and him on the chat. About a film. The next one's The Godfather, for instance. So,
lovely.
My God, I had to rewatch The Godfather. Oh my goodness,
it's hard work. You rewatched The God. You fucking knew it word for word, every bit of it.
Man, I fucking absolutely all of them. Unfortunately, even 3.
Really, even 3. Fair play to you.
Yeah, 3's fucking There's a new cut of it actually. There's a new cut of it, and it's definitely changes us.
Really?
Mm.
Okay. That might be next weekend.
What's it called? I can't remember the name of the cut. There's a new cut, and the way the couple has been involved, and I can't remember the name. They put a holy name in it, the way it's linked to the Vatican and shit and all that crap.
Yes. Right.
Anyway, this sounds into a fucking episode of the best. But yeah, put that in the notes too.
Will do. Conor Keys, this has been beautiful.
You're a legend, Tom.
Thank you very much, Conor. Like you said, best of the best. And Deckchair and Yumz, look down the show notes. They'll be there. Chances are the Venn diagram has us already following both. You know the crack. I told you about all the gigs again. If you want to come see me in Belfast, April 23rd, looks like a nice little crowd is coming. Dublin, May 5th, Portlaoise, May 6th, and Cork, May 20th. If you're on Spotify, do us a favour, hit 5 stars and hit the bell. If you don't do any of those things, do a screen grab and tag the podcast on whatever platform you're on, or tag me. And sure, tell more people about it. If you do want to become a Patreon, please do. There's loads of benefits to becoming a Patreon. Not only that, you can support the show. Actually make this show go. Yeah. So, go on away, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you again next week. Good luck, God bless, and thanks.